Returning to Fox 45's coverage of the Squeegee crisis in Baltimore, there was a disturbing comment from a Squeegee kid about what would happen if laws on the books were used to force them off city street corners. Mayor Brandon Scott and Ivan Bates, the presumptive city state's attorney, are divided over enforcement of this issue. One Squeegee kid tells Fox 45 News removal of them from street intersections would create more crime. Keith Daniels joins us live right now with a closer look at this complicated problem. Keith?
Well, Kai, that Squeegee kid may not be showing his face in the interview, but his voice is clearly heard. And tonight, his chilling words. Squeegee kids in Baltimore City, the complicated issue of washing car windows at corners for tips. But likely incoming state's attorney Ivan Bates continues to make one thing clear, telling Fox 45 News when he takes office, he supports the removal of Squeegee kids from Baltimore City streets.
I have been clear. I have not changed my stance. I understand, but they can't be there.
Tough talk from Bates, but tonight.
They stop this Squeegee, bro. I'm trying to tell you, bro, it's going to be more crime. It's going to go back out here robbing and selling drugs.
Perhaps even tougher talk from this Squeegee kid. Fox 45 News caught up with him at Mount Royal Terrace near North Avenue. He may not be speaking for all Squeegee workers, but his voice certainly resonating over an already controversial issue, telling us, while protecting his identity, if Squeegee kids are removed from corners, eliminating their source of income, that could be a tremendous price for the city to pay.
So if y'all stop it, going to go back to robbing and killing, and there's going to be a whole lot of crime. So I'm letting y'all know that now.
An ominous prediction, another troublesome layer to this ongoing problem. But it's not the first time we've heard a Squeegee worker share an unsettling thought. This interview with the Squeegee kid in July.
The man tried to swing a bat at him.
After the shooting death of a man allegedly killed by a Squeegee kid. This worker, who called himself Jay, seemingly suggested in front of our cameras that he and other Squeegee kids could be packing guns while standing on corners.
People always trying to act tough and think they can get out the car, but they don't know what we be having out here, so they need to stop doing that. Thinking y'all can come out and be all disrespectful to us and we not gonna be disrespectful back. No, you gotta give respect to earn respect.
At the time, we took Jay's message to City Hall, showed City Council members.
It's troubling.
Including Council Public Safety Chairman Mark Conway and Councilwoman Odette Ramos.
I think the situation has certainly changed because now people, realize that some of these folks might be armed.
That's not acceptable. I mean, our young people should not be carrying, period, let alone while squeegeeing windows.
From one threat in the summer to another, now in the fall.
Like that man just said, if y'all gonna stop this, make sure y'all got some jobs for these kids, because if y'all don't, it's gonna be a rude awakening for y'all. Well, in terms of enforcement, we're told tonight the Mayor's Squeegee Collaborative is working on a strategy. They say that strategy announcement will be coming in the coming weeks. We're live tonight. Keith Daniels, Fox 45 News.
I already knew what I was going to find before I even looked for it. I got some other videos. I'm really backed up. I just don't really have much time to actually sit down and upload it, and plus I got that whole hard drive space issue. I got to get another external hard drive. But anyway, I could talk about some of the gender stuff, but lately, if you've noticed, I've been talking about the community stuff, because it's just the amount of anti-blackness on the internet, on YouTube, in America is just rampant. You go through and you read these comment sections and it's like, damned if you do, damned if you don't. You can't win. Nobody's ever satisfied. It's just like young black men especially are just America's punching bag. And, I'm looking at this whole situation. I got into the whole Mayor Scott of Baltimore a while ago. I got into, I was seeing the Fox News interviews, and, I like him. I see he catches a lot of hell, a lot of criticism. I think he uh, answers a lot more questions as a mayor than a lot of other politicians that I see, especially, black politicians that I see elsewhere. Like Mayor Adams, it's more like talking points. It's more like sound bites that they want to throw out there, as opposed to like a person asks them a question, they pause, they actually process and think about it, and then they, give an answer. But like Fox News is one of the reasons why Barack Obama stopped, doing interviews with Fox News, because it's like, yo, if you're just going to spin everything I say, or if you're not going to, accept the answers that I'm giving you just because you don't like them, right? And you're just going to act like, oh, you didn't hear me explain something and pretend that, you didn't get the information. It's like, fuck it. Why am I going to even bother with you? But Baltimore's got a bunch of issues, and Baltimore is very much like Philadelphia. It's a large, poor, impoverished city. Row homes for days. Um, I mean, it's one of America's major deindustrialized cities on the East Coast. All those row homes, that density that you see in Baltimore, all that was based on when there was huge manufacturing in Baltimore. I don't know why when it comes to young black men and the deindustrialization of America, which affected everybody, both black and white, like people can't make the connection, right? And then all the other things that happen, to the black community, the redlining, the blockbusting, the eminent domain, the urban renewal, the convict leasing, COINTELPRO, the dumping of drugs in the black community by the CIA, 1994 crime bill, right? All these things that have just, negatively affected the black community. Like all that's in the background. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, you got no opportunities for these young men. And like I said, this shit is starting to creep into the white community, because that's why you got, even bigoted people like Undead Chronic. It's like, yeah, I can get past his bigoted bullshit, but I'm saying, that message about, like with his response to Dave Ramsey, you know what I mean, about how the boomers, took everything, and my work and my bootstraps and all that shit, and the economy is fucked up, and you got older people just saying nonsensical shit. The whole nation's been deindustrialized. NAFTA jobs going overseas, right across the border and shit, because they don't want to pay anybody, and you still got people running around like there's some cantankerous old man on all, get off my lawn. You know what I mean? Like still running around acting like there's just oceans of freaking house buying wage, type of jobs, and jobs that pay the type of money that you can support a family on. There's just jobs awash all over the place that a man can go out here and basically be Homer Simpson with freaking, 3 kids and a stay-at-home wife in the burbs. It amazes me. And just, like recently, I'd say within the last year, with this, whole, the pandemic and everything, and now it's starting to spill out into other areas. Recently, we've seen, all those people in Silicon Valley be affected, all the tech industry be affected, all the layoffs that they're going through, right? And it's like everybody just, they just want this, like, to wave this magic wand of, whatever problem they want to go away, to just go away without it costing them anything. I stand with the Squeegee boys. Straight up. Even the people in Baltimore, I'm not even from Baltimore, but I stand with the Squeegee boys. Squeegee boys, to me, it's no different than the Water Boys down there in, what was that, Atlanta? You know what I mean? In Philly, it was not only the Water Boys, but it was also the Pretzel Boys. It was so funny is, like, I've seen white folks, especially in the comment section, they play both sides of this bullshit, right? Like, and it just all depends on how the media covers the shit. I've seen videos where young men are selling water on the side of the road, and they're like, "Yeah, that's better than them being in the streets selling drugs and committing crime, right? Right? That's better than them doing that." Now you got the squeegee boys, or you got water boys in other cities, and now they're a nuisance. They're a problem. And if you ask me, it's all because, a couple interactions went down, but it's like, y'all got to tell the story, the full story. Like in Baltimore, one of the squeegee boys killed somebody in Baltimore because the dude, hopped out of the car with a baseball bat. Obviously there was a miscommunication. Again, they don't want to tell the full story. You think the squeegee boys are out there all day, thousands of cars going by, right? Like the young boy said in the video, I'll put the video in the description box about being disrespected. You think all those cars go by and you don't have people screaming nigger out the window or screaming some other fouls, get a job, nigga. You don't think that goes down? You don't think somebody like makes a gesture like, oh, clean my window, and then they just peel the fuck off? You don't think that goes down? You know what I mean? So throughout the course of the day, I'm pretty sure there's a whole bunch of shit that they're fed up with. And they had another video clip of some dude, like people are like, oh, look at this video of this white man getting attacked. What the fuck are you getting out the car, dude? What are you getting out the car for? You know what I'm saying? So dude gets out the car like, nah, you was looking for it, you found it. You know what I mean? Don't start none, won't be none. Are there cases of not water boys, squeegee boys, of trying to extort people? Yeah, I'm sure that there's a story of that or two, but the majority of them, nah. I think they're out there. Hey, you want your car clean? Okay, you don't want it clean? I move on to the next car. Squeegee, okay, $2, $3, $5, whatever to clean the window. That's how they making their money. Rather than being out there in the streets, being in the narco economy, selling drugs or, dealing with all the gang violence that everybody's already fucking complaining about. They're doing what the fuck they got to do. And even with them doing that, they want to, we want to shut down because you got whatever, a few bad apples in there. We want to shut it all down. And like the man said in the video, he's like, point blank, period. He's like, yo, I promise you, you shut this shit down, it's going to be more killings, more robbers, more stealings, all that shit. He's telling you what the fuck is going to go down. Get carjacked, bitch. I swear I don't understand, this society, as it pertains to young men, all young men, not just black young men. Black young men just catch it the worst, but all young men. Society just wants to, cape for women and big up women and we got programs for women, but then they're complaining about, again, men in prison. They're complaining about men committing acts of violence. And then when, there's a war, we need soldiers to go to Taiwan, or, we need soldiers to go to the Middle East. Where's our young 20-year-olds? Where's the 20-year-olds that we don't want to, help create economic opportunities for? You know what I mean? What do these young men have to fucking fight for? Fight for what? Fight for America? Fight for what? The ability to not make a livable wage, the ability to not be able to have any sort of meaningful value to where even a chick would want to fucking date you. You see what I'm saying? And then these young men got to go out there, and because they're at the lowest rung of society, they don't have a car, they don't have fucking transportation, they scraping by, right? People got the audacity to talk about get a job. Again, like as though Baltimore is a huge manufacturing hub. Like I said, this shit reminds me of fucking that damn 1990s McDonald's commercial with Calvin and shit like that. You know what I mean? Working at McDonald's, this is good for him. Calvin working at McDonald's, and the fucking girls are coming up in their car to be served by Calvin at McDonald's. But Calvin doesn't have a car. Calvin was walking his ass to McDonald's. That's good for Calvin. At least he's not in the streets. I mean, it's just my attitude. I'm like, this is what I don't care when people are out here getting shot, murdered, pistol whipped, carjacked. I'm just saying, as an overall society, especially the white folks, with the way that they're like like just delusional and clueless about the shit and just, just say all this get a job, all this bullshit that doesn't take anything into fucking consideration. I'm like, oh, they deserve it the most. They deserve to be robbed, pistol whipped, hit over the head, carjacked, home invaded, all that shit. All that shit. And I'm not saying that they shouldn't defend themselves and do what they got to do. Oh, it's going to be messy in both directions. But I'm like, I don't give a fuck. Because it's going to be this way. Because y'all don't want to deal with the problem. Y'all want to just speak shit out of existence. Oh, there's a homeless problem. Y'all just need to disappear. Like abracadabra. Oh, we have a problem with young black male youth and they're selling drugs and there's gang violence. We make the problem go away. Abracadabra. You know what I'm saying? Like nobody wants to talk about the underpinnings of the issues. And even in the comment section, there's black parents and black other people like in the comment section. The people that have made it. The minority of black people that are doing fairly well for themselves, and they're up there saying dumb shit. One guy's like, well, I went to college and and I got out and I had a 3.94 GPA, and you also most likely had a strong support system. You got folks out here, they don't have that type of support system. They don't have two parents that are supportive. They don't have two parents that plan the shit out. It goes back to that joke that Captain Solo and myself make all the time. It's like, yeah, man, totally his fault. He picked the wrong parents. Totally his fault why he's over here raising, both of his brothers and his sisters because, he picked the wrong parents. And that shit goes on a lot in the black community where the parents are so fucked up that either the kids got to stay with the grandparent or an ailing grandparent, especially with the pandemic and COVID, because there's a lot of that going on in Philly that people don't want to talk about, where, the parents are fucked up, the kid goes and is raised by grandma or grandpa, and then grandma or grandpa caught COVID, and now they got nobody. At best, they might have a cracked out aunt or some shit like that. And they're 16. They haven't even finished high school yet. And they're already out here trying to figure out what they're going to do and how they're going to make money. And they fall, 9 times out of 10, they fall right into the most available shit that's right in front of them is the narcotics game. But we all know that comes with, its own set of problems. You got to look over your shoulder. People, running around, running you down, all that shit. Now you got ops and all this other stuff. They killed your homie. You retaliated. All that stuff. It goes back and forth in this vicious cycle. You know what I mean? But the lack of understanding, just the way that people just come into the room and just try to talk at the problem. You know what I mean? And I don't know why, like, it's funny to me, like, especially when I see white men hate it, like white men talking at the problem when it comes to young black men. And then they get mad when, the liberal media or just the media in general talks at white men about, there's 7 million men that are not in the working, or they're not working, they're not in the job market. Right? And it's like, and what do these jobs pay? Do they pay house buying wages? Do they pay supportive family wages? Do they pay have a car and a house type of wages? Most likely not. You know what I mean? So, but and then this little bitch about, men are not getting married because men are, they subscribe to toxic masculinity. They'll just throw shit at the wall and hope it sticks. Men are not getting married because, they're out here just being loser men, like that shit when Tommy Loren came up and she was bitching like, y'all men need to stand up and be real men. She was talking about white men. She wasn't even talking about black men. These men need to stand up and they need to be real men. All that shit. And what's funny is, like, you'll see white men, like, they're like, they go into, response mode, and they make all these videos laying it out about why they're not trying to get married, why they're not settling down, why they're not doing all these things, because, what's in it for us? And let's talk about the courts and alimony and child support. Let's talk about all the details of why men are walking away or why men are saying fuck it, right? There's nuance to the shit. But when you get down to the black kids in the inner city and you go over to these news articles or news videos and shit and you start reading the comment section, I mean, it's like you would think everybody in there is like, is like fucking 70 years old and in a time capsule or something. You know what I mean? With these old empty ass platter, get a job, nigga. You know what I mean? Like completely ignoring, geopolitics, the current state of the economy, deindustrialization, NAFTA. I mean, again, that video about why 82% of Mexico is nobody lives in and they only live in 12% of the country. And when he got to that part about what did he call it? The chiadoras or some shit like that, or anyway, the factories that they got at the border towns like Tijuana and Juarez and shit like that, and how the U.S. companies could go over there and manufacture goods and then bring them back over the border duty free, and they were going to exploit the cheap labor. And I'm like, that's been going on for decades. Busting up the unions, been going on for decades. And you motherfuckers are still online talking about, get a job, nigga, get a job. Like, the shit is, I'm like, you know what? Get fucking carjacked. Get pistol whipped. Get a gun in your face. Get home invaded. Again, I don't care. Like honestly, like, I just tell, like, all my people, all my family, I'm like, don't go out. Like, don't go out. Don't go into Philly. Don't go in, because it's like, I just feel like, not that I'm leader of the world, but I'm just saying, I feel like I can't protect you at this point. You know what I'm saying? Like, I can't protect you, and I totally understand why what's going down is going down. People can talk all that personal responsibility all they want. Let's talk about societal responsibility. Let's throw that term around. Societal responsibility. There's no societal responsibility. There's no community responsibility. There's no, even parent responsibility. These kids don't ask to be brought here with no resources and no opportunities and nothing set up for them. You know what I mean? So, like, you got, like, the different tiers, of the shit, the societal responsibility, the community responsibility, the parent responsibility. And then we can talk about the personal responsibility. But everybody just wants to go all the way down to the personal responsibility and act like all those other, as though all of the different layers of responsibility, all the way from the top of society, all the way down to the individual, can be squarely dumped on the shoulders of the individual. Like, it's unbelievable. This is one of the reasons why I hate religion. I hate the fucking church. I can't stand that shit. Because all it's devised to do is to basically go out there and get people to behave and fall in line and adhere to codes of conduct without addressing the tangible aspects. Spirituality is not tangible. You can sit there and, treat Jesus like he's a magic genie and rub the lamp and God's going to do this for me and God's going to do that and blah, 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 blah. And then the government and the society and nobody else has to address the reality of creating gainful employment. I know it's not the easiest thing to do in the world. You know what I mean? It's not the easiest. The way the government and the banks and all the other shit got to move money around and do all this shit to try to, incentivize investment in a capitalist society. But we have a society that's driven by maximizing profits, right, while minimizing costs. And minimizing cost rolls right into payment to employees. And it amazes me at how people are foaming at the mouth on the internet, especially white people. They foam at the mouth about how, there's the societal decay and these children and they're running rampant and students are beating up their teachers and all this other shit, right? But yet there is no home family stability because the parents aren't gainfully employed. And so the kids don't really have a shot. And that breeds not only dysfunction, it also breeds a whole bunch of anger and contempt. Like, they got this video of some woman, I don't know I think it was in Atlanta. The girl was beating the shit out of the teacher, and I posted on my community tab. It had this some comment from some black older that's like bitching, oh, they don't respect the elders and all this other bull. I'm like, why should they respect you? What did you set up for them that's worthy of respect? These people, like, I don't know what type of time capsule they've been in, still running around with this model of you need to respect your elders. You should respect your elders. For what? That whole idea of you get respect just because you reached a certain age, just because you're old, but you haven't done anything, nigga, fuck you. I mean, seriously, fuck you. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, point blank, period. I feel all the anger from all these young people. I'm saying, even with my generation, like, I don't have any kids. I'm old enough to where I could have, some kids that are damn near grown. But I'm saying, I don't have any fucking kids. But like the whole idea of bringing kids into the world and like knowing like just how stacked against you the fucking current like world is and the economy, and you did nothing but just go out here and just be all finicky and free and bust it wide open and pop out kids, but you ain't got nothing for them. If you told me that I got a chick pregnant yesterday, and that in 9 months I'm gonna have this child, and you know what the first thing I'm thinking about? Damn, I gotta think of, oh shit, I gotta get him a car at fucking 17. I have to get them a car at 7. That's what I'm thinking about. I'm thinking about all the shit. Okay, damn, what's it gonna cost to send them to college? That's what I'm thinking about. You know what I mean? Or at least have that money that would, go towards college. Maybe they say, hey, I want to go into something else. Or maybe I want to start a small business. Okay, well, the money that was going to go to college, that can go towards your small business. Something. That's how my mind works. But you got other people out here, they were just fucking. And they had these babies. And everybody wants to be mad at the kid. It's the same thing. It's like the same thing I see with white people, and they're mad at Mexicans coming across the border, but they got no smoke for the white men that are undercutting American wages and hiring the Mexicans. They got no smoke for them, but they're mad at the Mexicans. And they do the same thing. They're mad at the kids out here or the young adults that are out here doing what they got to do, but they're not mad or as mad as the adults that brought them here underneath fucked up circumstances. Or they're not mad at the overall society that doesn't have any economic opportunities for them, that doesn't have that wants to cut after school programs and all other type of shit. I mean, it's fucked up. We live in a world where it's like, oh, you want a job that you can actually live off of? Oh, well, you're going to need this certification, or you're going to need this degree, or you're going to need this. And then now, like, even that's like slowly adjusting. So now you just got a whole bunch of people that have worthless degrees, but they got a whole bunch of student debt, and they can't afford to pay for student loans and housing and all that shit altogether. Right. So now it's like it's shifting like all over the place. You know what I mean? But you go back to the 1950s, you know what I mean? You had somebody, they graduated high school, they go, oh, this town in Ohio is here because the General Motors plant is there. And they fucking graduated high school, go, talk to somebody at their local church or something. You think Mr. Jacobs could get me in the plant? And they would go and get in the fucking plant and, get a unionized job, freaking get overtime, double time and was it overtime or what is it? Time and a half and double time on the weekends and shit like that. Right. If they went over full medical and dental, work there for 30 years and retire, send their kids to college, all that shit, get married, buy a house, all that crap. That is no longer the model. And people are bitching about the outcomes of the shit. I'm like, what did you think was going? What do you think, you're just going to take all this shit away? I was telling somebody just the other day. I was like, society right now is on a slow boil. It's like boiling a fucking frog. Where you turn the temperature up real slow, and if you turn it up too fast, the frog will jump out of the water. But if you turn it up real slow, the frog will die and not know that it's being boiled. And that's the whole thing. Like, get people to accept less and less and less, having nothing. Which the irony is, in the face, you're doing that at the same time that you have all this social media that's showing people living these opulent lifestyles and making, $40,000 a month off of a YouTube channel. And showing their luxury items and everything else. Like those two things don't go together. And for people to be happy and content, you know what I mean? People would be happy and content. Maybe if everybody was dusty and everybody was broke, but that's not the case. You have huge wealth inequality in America that's not being addressed, and people want to throw racial politics at it and all this other bullshit. I'm like, hey, get carjacked. Because this idea that people are just going to, oh, well, you're black and you're just going to accept your lot in life and stay in poverty and you should accept that ain't going to happen. You're going to get a gun in your face. And that's why they're running around screaming, oh, we need gun control. We need gun control. Because they're not going to address the socioeconomic issues. They don't want to. It's easier to say, just get rid of the guns. And then magically they think, well, at least we'll stop the gun violence. I'm like, but that doesn't mean that you're going to stop the violence. That doesn't mean that somebody's not going to run up on you with a knife. Then America will be having the same problems they have in the UK, where they got these little fucking containers and shit talking about, donate a knife, save a life, or whatever the fuck they got going on over there. They think they a bunch of samurai over there and shit like that. Like, it's not going to go away. You still have these underlying fucking problems. The idea is just it's easier to deal with a knife than to deal with a gun. But the stupid thing is like Ray Ray and Pookie are still going to have their guns, and the law-abiding people are the ones that are not going to be able to get access to, guns and firearms and all that shit. So you're just going to be out there more with nothing but your ass and more susceptible to being victims of violence and carjackings and robberies and all that other shit. You know what I'm saying? If two guys run up on you, one's got a crowbar and the other one's got a knife, and the one with the crowbar runs up to your driver's side window and cracks that shit with a fucking crowbar, and that glass shatters, or better yet, they get some fucking, what do you call that shit? Ceramic, and throw that shit at the window. Oh, that's ceramic. Have you seen what ceramic does to glass? Throw that bitch at the window. That glass is gonna pop, shatter, and they're gonna reach in that car with a fucking knife and still get the fucking car. You know what I'm saying? Like, what are you going to do when they reaching through the window with a fucking Bowie knife? Like, seriously, what are you going to do? Nothing. People kill me with this shit. You know what I mean? Especially all the people that you got, all piss poor health in America and shit like that. Motherfuckers talking shit. They got big old pot bellies, bad knees. Like, you going to run away from a freaking 17-year-old that was, just playing basketball on the basketball court. He's got way more speed, way more flexibility, way more agility than you got. Guns or no guns, you ain't getting away. You know what I'm saying? Like it's gonna be like a pack of hyenas surrounding a wildebeest. You know what I mean? Like, y'all just, oh man, it's stupid. And all this self-righteous indignation that I hear from all these people, because, they got a good job, because they're good, or because they don't live anywhere near, these black youths. And like I said, the white community, they're getting ready to fuck up because they're going to be dealing with the shit in their own community. And then society, oh my God, the infrastructure is collapsing. We need men in the trades. So you got Mike Rao. We need men in the trades. We need men in the trades, right? But then, like, the society has done everything to devalue men who are in the trades, right? Only now they're starting to talk about really paying these men because there's such a shortage, right? But then it's going to take a couple years for all that shit to catch up. Or when they talk about, we need soldiers to go to war, to go fight our, to enforce, Americans' imperialism abroad and everything. I'm like, yeah, good luck with that. I don't understand shitting on people that you're going to need 5 minutes from now. Like, I don't understand that when it comes to the way that society treats men. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, obviously white men are treated better than black men are, even though they'll argue that they're not because, we're being blamed for all of the atrocities of America as it pertains to race, right? And I'm like, well, you had no problem with it when you were the beneficiary of the shit, right? Now that it's no longer benefiting you and you're being condemned and then it's being used to empower other groups of people, now, now you're upset. You know what I mean? But, as it pertains to black men, no, young black men are just the punching bags. Motherfuckers out there trying to make money. And then this is what they do every time. Like, they always want to point to like some extreme example of some shit. You know, somebody abusing the system in some way. You know, like, oh, it's extortion. They're extorting people. I'm like, really? All of them? All of them are extorting people? Or just, a handful? You know, again, same thing. When you start talking about bad cops, it's only a few bad apples, right? When you're talking about police brutality and cops, there's only a few bad apples. You can't put that. 99% of police officers are awesome, right? But then you get over to the Squeegee boys, it's not just a few bad apples. They're all them niggas, it's all extortion, and they're all criminals. I'm like, let me get this right. So they go out there doing the squeegee thing, cleaning the windows, they're criminals. They go out there trying to sell bottled water, they're criminals, right? Then I'm like, well, what are they when they're actually criminals? What are they when they actually go out there and rob? Oh, they're still criminals. I'm like, fuck y'all, man. Fuck y'all. Like the boy said in the clip, man. He's like, y'all want to, this is what we do to make money because there are no fucking opportunities. You show me where the opportunities are. And then not only that, let's take it a step further because the young man speaking in the video, he wasn't even the most articulate. You know what I mean? Like he's a byproduct of his environment. And he doesn't have the vernacular. He probably doesn't have like the skills, like the ability to type. The irony is, God knows how many people I've seen in the healthcare got all the education in the world and literally are peckers on the keyboard. That drives me nuts. But they peck. They can't type. And therefore they like to use I'll give the foreigners a pass, but like there's other people that they just want to do the dictation because they can't type fast enough. I couldn't do it. I couldn't. If I couldn't type, man, that would be a struggle. That would just make everything take even longer. But anyway, I'm saying, like there's it's like, oh, get a job, but then there's a bias against these young men to get a job. It's not like the white folks that are doing the employing are like, oh, yes, you squeegee boys, I'm so glad you showed up because we had such a problem with you all being out there in the streets. Now let me show you some real work and actually pay you a respectable wage. And so here you go. That's not how that shit works. You know what I mean? It goes from we can't talk about the numbers, we can't talk about gainful employment, we can't talk about, a livable wage, house buying wages. We can't talk about that. It's well, at least they're doing something, right? Remember that's their favorite one. At least they're doing something, right? Because when they're not doing anything and they're just on the block or they're on the corner, that's a fucking problem. Then when they go out there and they're doing something, then that shit becomes a problem. And again, like black people are abundantly aware of the amount of disrespect that they get. And young people, for young people, it's always going to be a new thing, where like they don't even know where the shit is coming from. Like, I ain't do nothing to you. Like, where is this shit coming from? To where like people just think it's just okay. Like, oh, there's a black young man. Oh, let me go disrespect him. Let me give him a piece of my. They got all this Fox News bullshit in their head, and then they go out there. It's like with Eddie Murphy when he was making that joke about fucking Italians and Rocky and shit like that. Rocco, yeah, Rocco, right? And they go out there with these inflated egos, like just like that white guy in the video clip, that got out the car, and I'm sitting there, I'm like, I don't care what race they are. There's one of you. There's like in the video, it looks like there's 6 or 7 of them. And you gonna get out the car? You gonna hop out the car? I mean, it's almost the same thing as like what Kat was telling me something about a video that Tariq did lately, where he was talking about black people interacting with police and how like you don't need to fight them because you're not gonna win the fight there. You need to win the fight in court, lawyer up, and all this other shit. And Kat was making the point about like Tariq and that's maturity talking because that's not the type of energy that Tariq would have came with back in the day. When he was a younger man. But the older that you get, you start looking at shit practically. You know what I mean? You start looking at shit, and maybe I think like that. Me being a card carrying CCW holder and shit like that. Like this, I just walk away from shit because I know that I got the fucking end of time on my hip. I'm like, nah, man. I'm like, let me get out of this situation before this situation escalates. You cannot carry a gun and have a fucking ego. You know what I mean? And that was another thing. There was another part in there with the clip where you had this black councilman talking about, and these young people, they shouldn't have. Why the fuck not? It's still Baltimore. They still got you. So let me get this right. So you're gonna be a squeegee boy. You're trying to stay out of the streets and try to stay out of the drug trade. You're gonna go over there, do the squeegee thing. Those that are selling drugs or doing other illicit activity, they know that you were making money doing the squeegee shit all day, and now you gonna walk home or get on the bus or whatever with nothing but your ass, and they know what you got. I know a cat in Philly that was a bouncer, and last time I talked to him, he got robbed out in West Philly. You know what I mean? Like he said he was coming home, dude just rolled up on him. You know, it just was like, run that shit. And, he, with all the tips that he made, from the coat check and just being the doorman and shit like that, all that shit was gone. Just took it all. I think it was like $300, took it off of him. You know what I mean? Out there, yes, being a bouncer is not an illustrious job, doesn't get a whole bunch of respect, but the man is working. Goes downtown, goes to the club, makes his money at the club, and then goes back to the ghetto. You know what I mean? And somebody caught him lacking, they caught him slipping, and they jacked him for the shit. Black on black violence right there. You know what I mean? So like he said in the video, he's like, we motherfuckers being disrespectful, hopping out the cars and all this other shit, and you thinking that we just don't have anything on. See, they actually have the right mentality. Just like when I talk about these Temple students and shit, motherfuckers walking around, with nothing on them. And schools having policies, no gun policy, all this other shit. You know what I mean? Like the young black men in that environment, they know what it is. You know what I mean? They know that in that moment, what the fuck you got on you, that's the only thing that's going to stop or deter, violence being used against you. But everybody else has these, I don't know, they live in this fucking fantasy world. This la 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 la, I'm white, I live in the fantasy world, and like violence just can't happen to me. And then they're the white person always gets up on the news. This doesn't happen here. Oh, and they go all traumatic and shit like a little bitch ass. You know what I mean? Like just this isn't right. What about Christ? Oh, like shut your bitch ass up, man. Your coward bitch ass up. Shut the fuck up. And you get these black councilmen, they saying the same thing, just completely ignoring like what these young men have to go through to get from point A to point B. You know what I'm saying? Like the interactions and all that shit. You're not down there on the ground level. So the idea that they're going to be out there making all this cash money, they got cash on them, and they're going to be out there with nothing but nigga, fuck you. And in Baltimore, they got Baltimore is another one of these liberal states where, we don't believe in the Second Amendment and it's May issue and you shouldn't have that gun. And in order to have a gun, you got to go through all these hoops and all this other bullshit, in order to get one so that you can defend yourself. So basically nobody can defend themselves. So it's the whole shit is just you should just call 911. How long is it going to take them motherfuckers to get there? Just dumb shit. Again, what I love about the video is like you see the bloody bat on the ground. Like dude hopped out the car like he was on some Bronx Tale shit with the bat. You know what I'm saying? And motherfuckers smoked him like Sonny. Like that like shit. It's so funny to me. Just the I'm like, haven't y'all seen any movies? Like, don't you get how you would think that people there's certain things in movies that kind of hint at how shit really works in the real world, in real life. Like it's kind of giving you the anecdote to that shit, right? But y'all be walking out your front door like la 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 la, like that shit just kills me. Y'all just be walking out your front door with nothing but your ass, acting like shit can't pop off. You know what I mean? Or acting like you acting in a certain way is not going to elicit a certain response. Like you really thought that you was going to get out that car on 6 or 7 black teenagers and that you wasn't going to get served? Nah. Again, you was looking for it, you found it, you fucked around and found out. You really got to think about like what's going through your head. I'll give these niggas a piece of my mind. You get out the car with a fucking bat like it's the goddamn 70s or some shit like that. You know what I'm saying? Motherfuckers out here every day in every other song talking about blicky this, blicky that. YouTube shorts is filled with nothing but young black men showing off their guns. White boys be doing it too, but I'm just saying showing off their guns. They ETS mags and they freaking P80 lowers and all this other shit. I'm like, yeah, they got it like that. So you would think that would cause people to change their behavior to a degree. Like it ain't gonna be Rosewood in this motherfucker. You know what I mean? It ain't gonna be, freaking, the color purple, where Sophia had to back up the wagon because a white man wanted to cross his car across the bridge or some shit like that. It ain't gonna be that. You know what I'm saying? No, you gonna get the same energy that you put out. So like I still see this like this white entitlement, to check black men and tell them what their place is or what they can and cannot do. And these young boys don't give a fuck. You can threaten jail, all this other shit. The young black men are damn near on what the Muslims are on. They on that Allahu Akbar shit. They on that, yeah, you might take me out, but I'm going to take you, I'm going to take as many of you with me as humanly possible. That's what you're dealing with at this point. Motherfuckers ain't got, and then not only that, you don't whittle them down to nothing. They got nothing to lose. Death might be better than fucking this existence. You think they give a fuck? The shitty, let me live another day so I can go back to my shitty ass neighborhood and my shitty ass, single mom house and go to my shitty ass fucking bedroom and whatnot. Let me go back to that. No, they ready to die. They ready to leave this fucking world. They got all type of rage with them. You might not want to fucking poke the bear. You might not want to shake the hornet's nest. You might not want to, but these white people, they out here getting all hyped up on Fox News. Oh, man, I'm going to go out here with my 62-year-old ass and give these young black niggas a piece of my mind. And them young black boys will light your ass the fuck up. And then here comes Fox News with the spin, you know what I mean? And this elderly precious white man, he was attacked by 5 black male savages. They'll go up there and they'll say all that shit. Don't tell the whole story, right? Really? Like what about all that shit? That this dude hopped out and he was talking crazy and all this other stuff. You know what I mean? The only time they gotta back off is if the white person actually drops the N-word. Then it's like, you done fucked it up. We could have rooted for you, but you had to say it out loud where everybody heard you. And now there's people reporting that they heard you say, we can't support this. Fuck. But they wanted so bad to be, like the Mel Gibson said, raped by a pack of niggas. Like they wanted to be that so bad. You know what I mean? And I'm saying, and truth be told, like black people don't demonstrate that shit on a consistent basis. As a rule, black people only fuck with the people that fuck with them. As a rule, not always, but as a rule. The white people are the ones that go out here and go fuck with people that didn't do anything to them. They're the ones that have a track record of that, not black people. So when white people try to reverse this shit and try to claim I was just sitting in a park by myself and I was just approached by 3 black men and they just savagely and viciously attacked me. Like that shit doesn't make any fucking sense. It's like, really? Like they just walked up and they were like, they just attacked you. A robbery, that's different. Economic crimes, that's different. But just off of the strength of, we didn't want anything from you. We just wanted to beat your ass just because, fuck out of here. Fuck out of here. I was just minding my business, listening to Frank Sinatra, and they just came out of nowhere and just attacked me. And I need therapy. I'm so emotionally distraught. Like, fuck out of here. Fuck out of here with that bullshit. You know what I mean? But they keep trying to paint this fucking picture. You know, and it's just they can't. I'm telling you, man, these young black men, they cannot fucking win. There's no opportunities. America has been deindustrialized like a motherfucker. Many of their black parents brought them into the world underneath shitty ass circumstances, which I don't agree with. You know, and there's nobody, there's nothing there for them. Literally nothing there for them, and everybody's just condemning them and bitching at them about what they're out here doing, right? And then even in the black community, when you start talking about, hey, we got to focus on the boys and help the boys and all this other stuff, then somebody's bitching about how you're reallocating resources away from girls and we need girl empowerment. Right. And we got to listen to this bullshit about how, girls are behind and it's the evil patriarchy and misogyny. And then 5 minutes later, the women are on some talk show talking about, I can't find anybody on my level. Just fuck this world sometimes, man. I mean, just serious from the black male perspective, fuck this world. And so, like I said, young boys out there, I see it on the news. I'm like, damn, that's fucked up. And I do realize, like, I could easily be caught up in that shit. Even though I'm advocating, I'm caping for these young men. You know what I mean? I could easily be in Philly, park my car somewhere, and have a 16-year-old be like, run that shit, nigga. And I'm like, damn. And I'm all caught up right in the shit. But at the end of the day, am I mad at him? No. It's as fucked up as that sounds. You know what I mean? And not only that, if I get the drop on him, or let's say not even the drop on him, let's say I get my active self-protection counter ambush. He looks at, I throw my keys on the ground. He goes down to pick it up. Yeah, I'm pulling my shit out and I'm blowing him the fuck away. And that's the fucked up part. You know what I mean? Because now here I am, this whole situation, this whole fucking system, America, got me shooting another black man that's out here trying to get it the best that he can fucking get it because the whole system is fucking against him. I just so happen to have, parents that they fell through the cracks, got some opportunities and gave me a proper foundation that I built upon. And then now here I am taking him out. Again, it'll be filed underneath black on black violence. I think about that shit all the time, as somebody who carries. Like, I think about, like, I don't even like to go into, like the black community to, whether it's a black business or not, just patronize it, like, where there's a whole bunch of black customers. Because, number one, I know I stand out as a square. I'm the black guy that comes around and people think I'm a detective. They think I'm a cop. Okay? Too physically fit, too tall, too muscular. They think I'm like a Marine. Like, who thought that nigga was a cop? I had to tell my man, because I used to be in the black community at certain times and whatnot. And, that motherfucker, he told me what he had some drug dealers that were in front of the store. And, he told me, like, after I left, he was like, yeah, they said that they thought you was a cop. I was like, man, I ain't coming around there no more. I was like, I ain't coming over there to see you no more, man. If that's what they think, I'm like, that's all I need to know. Because that's just going to create, I'm not going to be able to convince them that I'm not. Like, fuck it. You know what I mean? So I'm just saying, like, I don't even like to go into spots like that. Because if somebody did come in there and try to rob the place, now I'm in a dilemma. You know what I mean? It's evil to sit there and shoot somebody that, it's like, oh, yes, this is evil, cut and dry. That's the monster, pow, 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 and be done with it, right? But it's different when you know all the underlying shit as to why this is even going down. You know what I mean? So I'm in the back of the store trying to get me a hug or some shit like that. A hug and some what's one of my favorite fucking Frito Lays. I got a hug. I got like 3 hugs, the blue one and the red one, and then I got like a Frito Lay pack, and then I'm coming to the front, and all of a sudden this motherfucker's like coming in with ski mask on, and I'm like, shit, I gotta shoot this motherfucker. Like, damn, I don't want to shoot another black man. The fuck? But if I got to, I will, because I gotta, I'm trying to get home. But I'm pissed off at the whole setup, the whole fucking situation. You know what I mean? That even has it to where this motherfucker feels so like he's in such a desperate situation that now he's out there and jacking and shit like that. I mean, it's even bad from the hustle standpoint, because that's like, I don't know who it was, the baby or little baby. I gotta figure out which one it was, but one of them said that shit. It was like, yeah, like the motherfuckers out here jacking and robbing and shit because they don't have a hustle. They don't even have hustles anymore. You know what I mean? Whether it was back in the day, it was running numbers, or it was some sort of car scheme or something. I guess that is what carjacking is. But it was something. It was something that didn't have you constantly, behind the barrel of a gun. It was some other shit some other scheme and check fraud, something like that, where you were getting money and it's doing some illegal shit, but it didn't have you out there. Like, to me, that's that high risk shit. When I hear about somebody, they out there robbing people and everything, now you in a desperate situation, because the likelihood of you getting caught, it's pretty fucking high. You know what I mean? It's pretty fucking, I mean, they've had a couple of incidences that in Philly, trying to carjack some people and shit like that. And Pennsylvania is a state where, unlike Baltimore, a lot of people are fucking strapped. You know what I mean? And so, they out there trying to rob people, and, you running up on a car with some 5% tint, you can't see through that hole. You know what I mean? The motherfucker had a gun pointed directly at your head, and you can't see through that 5% tint. You know what I mean? So, it's just all of it is just unfortunate, man. It's unfortunate. It's easy to sit there and be like, I got a job. But I'm like, when you put it in the proper context of the fact that America doesn't have a manufacturing base, the fact that, only 20% of the U.S. population goes to college. I think it's like 20 to 25% actually goes to a 4-year institution. What do you do with the 80% of people? And then you get into the Jordan Peterson, the fact that all those people have varying levels of IQ. What do you say? Let them eat cake? What do you say? And this is why I'm continuously having this conversation about UBI. It's not a matter of just going out there and getting a job. Get a job. Like it amazes me how people throw that up. Does this job pay enough to put roof over their head, food on the table, and, reasonably support a family? If it doesn't, you ain't talking about shit. You ain't talking about shit. Even if the boy went out there, even if the Squeegee boys went out there and got a comparable job, get a job making $15 an hour after taxes, you ain't taking home shit. You ain't taking home shit. So it's just, motherfuckers kill me. They kill me with this shit. Especially when you throw in cost of living, especially in a major metropolitan area. Come on, man. Like people just, they again, it's that abracadabra, make the problem go away bullshit. And I'm like, that's the best that you got? Just like that video of that guy talking about, well, what do you have for these high schoolers? What do you have for these young men, when they graduate high school, that whatever, it was like a TV factory that shut down because the whole video was about deindustrialization and sending jobs overseas and making products in Shenzhen, China, right? And he was like, well, what do you have? I mean, what do you tell these high schools? He was like, oh, I don't know. I was like, I don't know. That's why I was like, get carjacked, bitch. See, that's a non-answer. You don't get to be a grown adult. Okay, you don't get to be a grown adult male participating in the community and bringing children into the world, a part of that collective of men, the previous generation of men who are actively bringing children in the world, and then sit there and say about, the class of 2023, oh, we don't have anything for them. Fuck you. Get carjacked, bitch. You don't get to say we don't have anything for them. You don't get to say that. You know what I mean? So like I'm too through, with this fucking society. I'm too through with it. Whether not just on the racial side, but on just the community side. Period. You know what I mean? Everybody's coming up. I already know what it is. Again, it's why religion is bullshit. All these people, oh, we're Christians, we're this, we're that, bullshit. Bullshit. Like Gandhi said, and I know Gandhi was a racist. I like your I like your Christ, but I don't like your Christians. Because at the end of the day, as Captain Solo said a long time ago, nobody wants to pay. Everybody wants problems to go away without it costing them. All they do is kick the can further down the road, and the problem grows like a fucking cancer, and it gets worse and worse and worse. And now, like, it's at a point where, it has its own subculture. Gangster culture did not formulate itself overnight. No, that's what happens when you have a group of marginalized people and you shun them out of society for decades on end to the point that they're actually reproducing children in that situation. That's what you get. Now you got people that are not only unemployed, but many of them unemployable. And again, unless society is going to have some sort of great purge, which is what the white nationalists are running around, so they can have their racial reset, like these people are going to exist. This goes the same with, you see people that have drug addiction and all this other, they talk about that shit in Atlanta. Oh, we got homeless people. People are moving out the city because we got too many homeless. Oakland's homeless shit is the worst shit ever. Any place really where it's warm and they don't have to deal with real severe winters, you're going to see a lot of tents. You're going to see a lot of homeless people. But nobody wants to really fund rehabilitation. Same thing with the prison industrial complex. We're going to lock people up, hit them with the scarlet letter of, oh, they're a felon, and then make it virtually impossible for them to be gainfully employed. And then you wonder why there's a high rate of recidivism, right? And why you got, what's the whole thing, right? People should not, you serve your time and then you're supposed to be reincorporated into society. Right, you're supposed to be rehabilitated, right? That's supposed to be, the concept, right? But even like you see this shit with the George Floyd and what is his name, Charlton White, and his bullshit trying to conflate, Tamir Rice and George Floyd, when the problem with George Floyd is the cop had his knee on his neck for 8.5 minutes. Motherfucker, he did this and he did this to a black woman and da-da-da. And he went to jail and he served his time and he paid his debt to society. Why are you bringing that shit back up? Why are you bringing that up? He already paid his debt to society. You see what I'm saying? So people like literally like the fuck, it's like once a criminal, always a criminal. An interesting thing is the Supreme Court even, is now, bringing up, people, I don't know what it is with like felons or like non-violent felons and whether they lose their Second Amendment rights. So, there's more nuance to the shit. But people don't want to really sit down, and examine that. No, once a criminal, always a criminal. Why does once a criminal, always a criminal? Like people don't commit crimes out of necessity rather than committing crimes out of being evil. I noticed that's another thing I noticed with white conservatives and these white Christians. They always want to make it that somebody who's committing a crime is committing a crime because they're evil or they're lazy, not because they're desperate. They totally remove the desperate part. It's because they're evil or they're lazy. And so therefore they have a pathology and therefore, they have a propensity towards this behavior, despite the fact that they only did it once. You know what I mean? But notice they're not trying to do that shit to Martha Stewart. You know what I mean? She's a crook, always a crook. She's a crook. She should never work in show business again. Like nobody's saying that. But let it be, a black teenager that got caught for selling marijuana at 19 or something like, he's a drug dealer. He's a drug dealer for life. It's like, and then people wonder why people fall back in their life. It's like eventually you get to a point where it's like, fuck it. I might as well be what you think I am. I might as well be the monster that you think I And I know there's people that fight against that. They're like, no, don't do it, Anakin. You know what I mean? Like they want to, go with that bullshit. But I'm like, man, I'm like, man, fuck this society. Honestly, fuck people. Fuck people. Seriously. Like if I was God, man, I'd Sodom and Gomorrah this bitch so fast it wouldn't even be funny. Because that's how fucking shitty people are. You'd have to be, freaking trying to convince me like what was that robot's name? Klaatu and fucking the what was that movie with Keanu Reeves? What was that movie called? That the end of the world, the day before the what was that movie called? Damn. Keanu Reeves. No, not Replicas. What was that movie? Robot, End of the World movies. Yeah, The Day the Earth Stood Still, which was a remake, but that was like, what was that, 2008? Yeah, I'd be like that. I'd be like that robot, ready to freaking annihilate the world and shit like that. Because that's just how shitty people are. I come across more people, and maybe I shouldn't say that. Maybe it's just that how the comment section is like it's like a gravitational pull of all the idiots on the internet. You know what I mean? But I just see these people with these same canned fucking responses, no nuance to the conversation. No fucking solutions, just waving their finger, this self-righteousness, acting like they're better. Just all on some, he who has no sin cast the first stone type shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, just they're all on that shit. Black and white. See black people doing the same thing, trying to get pats on the head, get white approval and shit like that. Yes, massa, I'm one of the good ones. You know what I mean? Like, I can't stand these niggas, man. I mean, seriously. It's like the white people, if they ain't bad enough, you got to deal with these coon ass tap dancing, Sambo ass niggas, man. It just, oh God, it's just so annoying. But no, I just see way too many shitty people. People that don't want to do anything. Like it's like the whole world operates on this. Well, I got mine. But I'm like, okay, y'all got yours. But I'm like, but you're still bringing babies into the world, and you ain't setting nothing up. You know what I mean? I'm seriously I almost like want to fast forward when all these young people are like older and the old people that didn't do shit, like they get to a point where they can't do shit, and the young people are just like, just like, go sit your old ass down somewhere. We got to fix all the shit that you fucked up, and you're gonna sit there and just feel bad and just sit there and take it. Like, shut your old ass up. Go back in your fucking retirement home and watch reruns of As the World Turns and Young and the Beautiful, Bold and the Restless or some shit like that. Fuck out of here. You know what I mean? Oh, people, man. I swear to God, man. People, man. No, Pete, you're an atheist. You don't believe in God. Okay, fine. I swear to Hotep. You know what I mean? Damn, man. It's fucked up. But anyway, that's all I got to say. That's my video. SWP out. Don't forget to comment, share, like, and subscribe.